So what I'm going to do is share with you several historical stories, and I think these historical stories will bring some clarity to the question about Christianity. Let's go back to the year 1648. In 1648, the Jews had just gone through a horrible massacre by a Cossack named Bogdan Khmelnytsky. He butchered over 100,000 Jews. And you had two things taking place in the world back then. Here you had an immense massacre of Jews, terrible, horrible persecution of Jews, plus you had many mystics back then, many mystics that predicted that in the year 1648 the Messiah would come. Well, guess what happens in the year 1648? Shabtai Tzvi, a very great Jewish scholar, claims that he is the Jewish Messiah. Because there were two things that made it very easy for him to swing his case. Number one, there were many mystics that predicted that in 1648 the Messiah would show up. And number two, the Jews were reeling. The Jews were terribly shocked by this horrible pogrom that wiped out so many Jews. They were so desperate for someone to come and basically make things better for them. So Shabtai Tzvi claims to be the Messiah. He wasn't living in Israel. He was living in Turkey. And you should understand, many Jewish people who accepted his claim. He attracted thousands of followers. Thousands of followers. Now, what did it mean to say in the year 1648 that you thought Shabtai Tzvi was the Messiah? It didn't mean that you ran around Constantinople just saying, I believe in Shabtai Tzvi. That's not what it meant to think he was the Messiah. What it meant was that he was going to go back to Israel, become the king, and bring about the Messianic revolution. So it meant that if you were living in Turkey back then, you were going to go back to Israel. So many of his followers sold their homes, sold their possessions, with the expectation that they'd be going back with him to Israel. That's what the expectation was. In 1666, he's thrown into prison, and he's given a choice. Shabtai Tzvi is given a choice. Either you convert to Islam, or we kill you. He put on the turban and converted to Islam.